Thank you for joining the webinar today. Today's topic is streamlined routing, bill of material, and ECO management for Sage 500 ERP. My name is James Mallory, Director of Marketing for EDB Technologies, and I'll be your host for the presentation. Before we get started, I just want to cover kind of our background and the full portfolio of products and enhancements that we've developed for Sage 500. As most of you know, we are the original publishers of the Sage 500 manufacturing products. We were a company that was founded in the early 1990s, and we developed the Sage 500 manufacturing products when we were High-Tech Solutions. Sage wholly acquired those products and company in 2001. Myself and most of our team went to work for Sage, and then we reformed under EDB Technologies a couple years later and have been developing and working with Sage 500 ever since. Our goal as an organization is to make Sage 500 better for distributors and manufacturers. We do this through a number of different add-ons and products that we've built through the years. We have a number of distribution enhancements, which you can see over on the left. Those distribution enhancements also enhance the system for manufacturers, and then we have a number of manufacturing add-ons as well. These include everything from enhanced MRP, Kanban, sales forecasting, cost modeling to help you really manage your standard costs, quality management or quality control, enhanced inventory, which allows you to do things like printing lot tags, serial tags, inventory tags, to be able to track serialized components to serialized finished goods during production. Document control, so you can control which documents and revisions are tied to different roundings of bill of materials or inventory items. On the manufacturing side, ECOs, we're going to talk about that later in the presentation. A bunch of work order enhancements, the ability to do multiple labor entries at one time, manufacturing costing enhancements, routing copy enhancements, just a lot of different things. And those are all applications that we built directly within the Sage 500 development toolkit. So those products look, act, feel, and behave just like any other Sage 500 application. And they are very specific to Sage 500. The products at the bottom, outside of Anytime 500, which is kind of the modules that we have listed at the top, but Anytime Collect, Commerce, and Supply Chain are cloud-based applications that integrate to Sage 500 as well as other ERP and accounting systems. Anytime Collect helps companies better manage their accounts receivable, credit, and collections. Anytime Commerce helps companies sell more product online. It's a business-to-business e-commerce shopping cart. And Anytime Supply Chain is really kind of the next generation of our supply chain management suite, which today has sales forecasting, material requirements planning, and distribution requirements planning to help companies identify what do they need to buy, when, how much, and from who, or what do they need to make, when and how much, based on their on-hand inventory, sales demand forecasts, the routings, the bills of material requirements, sales orders, purchase orders, etc. Really netting out the supply and the demand, looking at the inventory parameters, and giving you a much easier way to determine what do you need to do to avoid a stock out, to reduce carrying costs, etc. So let's walk through some of the enhancements we've made from an engineering perspective for manufacturers using Sage 500. This screen here is related to the setup for our product, and the boxes highlight some of the areas. So we can require an approval for an ECO. So if I'm making a change to a routing of bill of material, I can require that to go through an approval process. It gets routed to different individuals or different groups of individuals. They can then approve that, and then an ECO can take effect. When that happens, we also have a checkbox. Do we want to auto-update the revision on the routing to show that that is in fact the new revision level? We can also mark previous routings as inactive, because if I have version A and version B, ECO1, ECO2, and ECO2 is now effective and active, I probably don't want to continue to use ECO1. Down at the bottom, we have added some things to insert new steps to work orders after the work order's been audited. We've also added the ability to insert quality procedure routing steps during the routing step copy, and that's something that we're going to look at a little further in presentation. Another big one is user-defined fields. Sage 500 manufacturing does not have user-defined fields. It's the only module, to my knowledge, within the application that does not. So we've expanded the system to allow this for a little bit more flexibility. User-defined fields, they act just like they do in other modules. We can add user-defined fields for routings, routing steps, work order steps, define the entity type, whether it's a drop-down or a checkbox or a selection. And then if it happens to be like a validated list, we can define the values for that user-defined field. On the routing and bill of materials screen itself, you can see that we've expanded the two-part key that identifies a unique routing. So in addition to having the routing ID and the routing version, we've added an ECO number. So that will identify the unique definition of our bill of manufacturing, if you will. We've also added a checkbox to identify routings and bills of material that are ECO controlled. You don't have to control them all. The require one-to-one component traceability, this is what I was talking about earlier, where let's say that I manufacture a laptop or a tablet. I don't want to make one work order for one computer or tablet at a time. What I probably want to do is create a work order where I'm going to make, a dozen of these, 100 of these, 1,000 of these. The problem is, with Sage 500, if I issue 100 motherboards to a work order and they're serial tracked, and I'm trying to make 100 laptops or tablets, and they're serial controlled, I don't know which serialized motherboards went into which serialized tablets or laptops. This allows me to do that so that when I go to complete the work order, I can define the specific serial numbers for the components and how those relate to the finished goods that they were used in. Okay, so we have that component traceability. We also have on the screen here, is this the current ECO? We also have the ability to create sub-work orders, where if this routing is marked to create sub-work orders, and I create a work order for the parent item, let's use an example here, maybe I'm making shovels. When the work order is created to make the shovels, it'll also create the sub-assembly work orders at the same time. Maybe there's a work order routing in the system to create the blade and the handle. It will go ahead and generate those and then relate them together with a numbering scheme so I can see all the related dependent sub-assemblies. Excuse me. We've also given you the ability on the screen to view your quality procedures, to look at those custom defined fields, to look at your ECO history, and to attach different types of documents or files to the routing and bill of material. Bill of Material Global Replace. I have the Sage out of the box screen over on the left. It's very small, but it's very restrictive. I can basically replace an item with another item across any routing and bill of material that uses it in the system, which isn't really practical. We've enhanced this with our enhanced Bill of Material Global Replace, where I can pick what do I want to do, right? Do I want to replace this item with another item on the bill of material for only a selected group of routings? Or maybe I want to delete an item. Or maybe I want to replace a quantity of that item. Instead of requiring 2 pounds of a compound, I now require 2.2 pounds for some reason. So I can change quantities on these routings as well. The other nice beneficial part of this enhancement is that I can manage changes to work centers. In a lot of cases, I might want to replace one work center with another, or on certain routings, and I want to maybe update a different machine. Maybe I swap out one machine for another. So we have now a routing work center global replace as well. Routing step copy. Alright, so I'm going to give you some scenarios why you might want to use this. In Sage 500, you can copy a routing to another routing. which is good. But what if I only want to copy certain routing steps and I want to insert them into an existing routing or into multiple routings? This is why we developed this application. The other reason is, let's say that I create a routing, I create a work order, and then as I'm producing that item, I start to understand that I need to make changes. And I make changes to the work order through work order maintenance. I can then go back through this screen and I can copy those mods that I've made to that work order back to the routing to make that the new standard. Okay? This is very common in sort of like make to order environments, and it's something that really wasn't too easy to manage out of the box with Sage 500. So I can copy from a routing to a routing, I can copy from a work order to a routing to a work order, etc., etc. I define ranges of steps if I want. You know, beginning step, ending step. Do I want to include step notes from that copy? Where do I want to put these new steps? Do I want to add them at the end, insert them at the beginning, put them between one step or another? Do I want to add it just prior to the progress step? And then what's my increment on those step IDs so that I can kind of renumber and restructure that new bill of manufacturing? This is the same screen we were just looking at, but it shows at the bottom that I can apply this to different routings. So maybe I have a new set of sequences or operations that are required to make a bunch of different items, right? So I can copy these steps from one routing or work order into 3 or 4 or a dozen or 100 different routings that already exist in the system. Engineering change orders, we give you the ability now to track revisions to purchase raw materials. So maybe I'm buying the 2013 model, but then at the end of the year I want to switch over and start buying the 2014 model. Instead of having to create a new inventory item, I can keep the same item but actually track this from a versioning standpoint, and when I'm creating my purchase orders to my vendors, we can include that revision or ECO revision on the purchase order, so they know, don't ship me the 2013 model, ship me the 2014 model. We have the same thing with finished goods. Sage 500 out of the box has engineering change management, which is really a glorified approvals process, but it's very restrictive. Our ECO module does a number of different things. Number one, it gives you a unique ECO number. It also allows you to define a reason code for it and type it, and it allows you to manage multiple routings within the concept of an ECO. Let me give you an example why this is beneficial. Let's say that I have an item, maybe again my shovel, maybe it's my shovel blade, and I'm making a change to the engineering of that shovel blade. I'm going to make changes to the routing, the bill of material components, etc. If that shovel blade is used in 100 different versions of shovels that I happen to manufacture, I really want all of those finished good routings to be part of this ECO. And that's what we can do with our ECO module. We've added a number of different reports as well. One of them is an engineering bill of material report, so if you want to look at your new bill of material based on ECOs, this would be a good report for you. Another one is a planning bill of material report. So just a different way to look at the information. And there are literally probably close to a dozen new reports or changes that we've made to existing Sage 500 manufacturing reports. And this is going to be beneficial because this is one area where a lot of people make changes to Sage 500 is in the reporting. So that's going to conclude the webinar today. I encourage you to go out to edbanytime.com and to get more information about the different products that we've discussed today. I really firmly believe that we can help you transform your business using Sage 500 and the Anytime 500 applications. I have my contact information up on the screen. If you happen to have any questions, please give me a call or drop me an email. I'd be happy to try to answer your questions or to get you in front of the right person that can get you those answers. And with that, we're going to let you all go, and we look forward to seeing you on a future webinar. Thank you, and take care.